I listened in on some of the presentations or the workshops and the comments, and I thought they were first of all really good. One thing I'd like to mention is that for those who are not Chinese, who are come to China and they're thinking of this market as a place where they're going to make the big bucks, take some thoughts that some people present with a grain of salt, especially with regard to your relationship as you come into someone else's country. There is no value in being confrontational in China. No value. If you diss somebody here, you're out. You're not respected at all. So on that, it's really fun to hear, stories about people who push their way through things, but those stories are true for those characters. But what you'll notice in those stories is that the people that they get to help them, they're local, they're connected, they're the ones that actually drive the success of the people who are sort of the forefront. So just that's the Guanxi thing. I also mentioned it yesterday about it's a very special process to get business done here, and it's not done based on merit. It doesn't matter how good your product is, how efficient, how whatever. It matters on who allows you basically to bring it into the market. So also yesterday there was a talk about sort of the fairness and the value systems between UK and China, and the understanding of how these things were, there are different perspectives, and what's fair in the UK is not necessarily fair thought in China, and that's something I'd love to talk to people about more later. So one of the things I want to talk about is the opportunity from an innovative point of view of the lifestyle of health, happiness, and sustainability. Because I think that's really the market. What we're seeing emerging is that there's an entire, it's like the difference between the high-tech buildings and the culturally significant buildings that are retrofitted and made more efficient, and they have a lifestyle associated with them. They're not something new that is people don't have any connection to. There are lifestyles that are in fact sustainable. So some of these people, you'll meet some of these guys tonight, Jonathan Watts and so on, talking about the real situation in China. So by the way, I was given a Pu'er tea. This is the mayor of Pu'er down in Yunnan province. I just thought I'd show you that, and Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall is another adherent or promoter of a lifestyle that is part of being the solution. So previously I was, when I first came to China, I was working for the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Research Center for Eco-Environmental Science, and one of the ways that we look at things in the Chinese Academy of Sciences is from a hardware, software, and mindware point of view. Hardware being the goods, the structures, the infrastructures, the transportation, all the things that Doreen was talking about. The software being the services and the governance, financial systems, and so on. I heard a lot about that yesterday. Systems of certification and these kind of things. And then the mindware, the values and the attitudes. That's of course what my interest is, and that's what my interest is in finding out how I can help you in any way I can to develop your ideas that are based on lifestyle values. Values that are going to lead us toward a sustainable world. So how do we make innovation happen? Disrupt the world. One of the maybe complaints I had yesterday, just in my own mind, radical. What are you going to do that's really going to turn the system? We need to change that tipping point thing I talked about. We need to change. We need to really radically change things. We have a relatively short period of time when we have to change things. And that's going to take some, not just adaptation and not just mitigation. We need to really have some stimulating, and I'm not being revolutionary in terms of political things, I mean revolutionary in terms of how do we approach things, how do we do buildings, and the rest of it. This is an old slide, it's all screwed up. Okay. Yes, so we talked about the what I wanted to mention was tribes. I don't know, I didn't speak about it yesterday. The marketing to people. Advertising doesn't work anymore, really. Maybe the PR guy yesterday would not agree with me, but you know, advertising per se, people don't click on stuff. Really, they don't look at those clicks on the web page. And a lot of the world doesn't watch web pages. You know, they look at billboards, they do things, but they don't act on these things. What really works in the world is people. People recommending things, people talking to people, people living a lifestyle, choosing products and then having them be chosen, you know, having them be recommended by friends, by their families and so on. So we really do have to come back to the social side. It's not about big publicity and big buildings and big shiny things. Really, we have to get back to this, how do we live a better life? How do we live a more meaningful life? And where is the opportunity? Also, Dorian talked about energy and the energy consumption. Look at the energy consumption compared to the rest of the world. China. Gosh. You know, where is the opportunity? Things to do with energy, not producing more. Things about saving energy, things about creating products, innovating processes and systems that are going to use less energy, products that are going to use no energy. They're going to use the sun as the energy or something else. Okay. Yesterday, I very, very briefly, and I'll do it briefly again today, talk about this program or this framework that I developed when I was teaching at the Chinese University of Hong Kong called Dragonpreneur, Entrepreneurship with Chinese Characteristics. And these are actually Tsinghua students, but the idea behind this, I can probably have a chance to talk with people individually, but the idea behind this is to create the holistic entrepreneur. An entrepreneur that's not just graduating from an MBA program or other program to make money. Of course you need to make money, we all need to make money, but we need to develop essentially our leadership skills. It's self-leadership. We need to lead ourselves through a lifestyle that's going to be not only good for us, but also good for the people around us and the whole planet. So to do that, communication skills, relationship skills, maybe it's not guanxi, it's real relationship skills. Win-win-win relationship skills. Money and wealth management, management of health, management of time, and management of money. Creativity, innovation, what we're talking about right now. Innovation, where does it come from? Innovation comes from being open. Innovation comes from not education, it comes from being educated and being given the opportunity to learn how to learn and learn how to have the freedom to innovate. So China market had this is a little thing we did with the migrant school children. See them all doing their three fingers. But this is the future. Not only the future for China, it's the future for the world. This is 1/5 of the world's population. Right? And it's not getting smaller, it's getting larger. And China is becoming much more the driver of what's happening. So how do we get these little guys to live in a world which is as clean as we got it, maybe even cleaner, make it better? Well, this is a project I'm associated with in Yunnan province. It's collecting shoes, basically, and when we get 20 pairs of shoes, we give a new pair of shoes to the person who collects all the shoes. So it's not about money exchange, it's about if you have this garbage strewn all over the mountainside, collect the refuse. It includes the shoes. Bring the shoes bring the shoes to our collection center, and we'll exchange something of value, another pair of shoes that will show that keep the mountainsides clean. It's not only good for tourism and it's not only good for the environment, it's actually good for you in a practical sense. So these kinds of things, these are social enterprises. They're small things. They're sponsored. You know, there is money in it. It's not huge money, but it's part of lifestyle. So again, buildings we were talking about earlier, pollution is a product. Pollution is chemicals and waste and all kinds of things that are out there not being productive. So I think we have to change our thinking and realize that pollution is a product. products should be recycled. Pollution should be captured, whether it's carbon sequestration or whether it's collecting metals and recycling them, whatever it happens to be. There are the beginnings of programs. This is companies creating, products that are recyclable and selling them as fast-moving consumer products. There's, big corporations involved in recycling aluminum and glass and so on, which has been done for a long, long time. But now it's becoming truly a corporatized business. So that is definitely the direction we need to go in. Not building the new shiny things, but build the things that are sustainable and also use the existing material that we've already strewn all over the earth to do something good with. Another thing that had been mentioned yesterday in a few of the groups was this idea of having some standards, certifying and getting, how do we get companies to become part of the solution as opposed to simply being a money-making part of the problem. This is another thing that we've been doing over the years, is trying to get rewarding companies and rewarding individuals as being part of the solution. So certifying people.
Can you flip back slightly?
Oh, yeah. This one? So this is just for our, I mentioned yesterday, ISR, Individual Social Responsibility, CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. This is our little certificate that we hand off to people that just says thank you as a company or as an individual for starting this voyage, this journey on the road to sustainability.
So how work? Present your question later.
Yeah, save the question. So again, other people talked about this idea of kind of certification symbols or logo symbols. We have experimented in Hong Kong. This is with the Pacific Coffee in Hong Kong. Some of you know Pacific Coffee. And here's our little three fingers. And there's the green food thing. We're just starting to get this idea. It's not just about whether it's organic or whether it's this or whether it's that. It's about, does it fit with the lifestyle? What are we living here? Remember I had the balls yesterday, juggling the three, society, environment, economy? That's reality. We're not all eating organic food all the time. We're not. But we are looking to live a lifestyle that has some kind of sustainable path. And I think we do need some kind of symbol, or maybe 10 programs, hundreds of programs around the world, but they're all in this general direction. They're all helping people become part of the solution. So what can you do? She's doing the three. We have to begin to think. We have to, in our businesses, in our presentations, in all the things we're doing, I hope that we stop always saying the corporate line, that we start to really say some things that are part of our thinking and our thing. Of course, I mentioned yesterday about the too many slides, about the save the planet by changing your personal lifestyle. The one day, the three-finger Wednesday, where you change your face, change your diet, and unplug. And then finally, the caravan of care. This is, I'm having real trouble maneuvering, navigating through this thing. Anyway, caravan of care, you saw this slide yesterday. This is another thing I just mentioned briefly. A lot of the challenges you mentioned yesterday have to do with the wealth gap. The problems and opportunities in terms of innovative approaches to solving problems. After all, that's what all businesses do. All products are to solve problems. Esteem problems, eating problems, nutrition problems, every product, every service is to solve a problem. One of the big problems in China is this problem between the rich and the poor. Of course, most of us just think in terms of marketing to the rich, because that's how it's kind of easy to make money that way. But you know what? The world's not going to be all full of rich people. And the problem is, a lot of our focus on rich people is the problem. We need to focus a little more on the billions of other people. And the billions of other people all consume, they all do all the things that the wealthy do, and they need products too, and they don't need the cheap, broken, polluting products. Why is it that we, the rich, put all our concentration on the healthy products, when, you know, a large part of the world is consuming possibly unhealthy products. So it sounds altruistic, but I'm hoping that it's really quite practical. Really, the market is the big, here's the problem, you know, unsustainable, unbalanced, and it's literally unsafe for the rich. If the rich continue to isolate themselves by their consumption behavior and so on, then they will be in trouble. They will be in trouble because there's many, many, many more poor. The solution is to float all the boats. Float all the boats. Get as many people, not just wealthy in terms of money, but in terms of security, lifestyle, health. Bring that spirit up throughout the world. And I think that's where the real innovation, the real opportunity, where the real money, and not just money, but the really good sense of what you've done for the world is going to come from. So I'm sure my time is close to being up. Thank you very much. Hope to talk to you.